to the weekend culture. Welcome to the weekend culture. Welcome to the weekend culture. We push back, push back.
The stream and come back to it before it starts so it'll actually engage, right?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, and welcome back to Honey Badger Arcade. My name is Brian. I'm here with John, the problematic white guy, and this is the Weekend Culture, where we discuss the cultural news of the week, and we try to push back on the narratives that are being pushed out and the various ways that we analyze media that I think is unique. I'll just say that. So, hello, John. How are you doing?
Well, awesome as always. Just starting a little bit close to the I guess the deadline today. I woke up kind of early and then went and laid back down again and didn't really necessarily fall asleep until probably about in the last 40 minutes before my alarm normally goes off. So I basically just am rolling out of bed getting it. So but other than that, no complaints. Let's fucking go, right?
All right, yeah. So we have a great show. We're going to be talking about Stellar Blade Blood Rain, specifically the reaction to it, which has been interesting to say the least, and that we have real evidence or proof, I guess, receipts for that basically like backs the claims made by a lot of people on this side of the Gamergate conversation, which is the uglification of the removal of standards is all by design. And we could talk a little bit about some of the, because there was like a Sony State of Play, there was a Microsoft or an Xbox thing, there was a Nintendo thing. We can look at some of those games and what was talked about there. And but yeah, we have quite a bit to get into this week. So please hit the like button, guys, if you're watching, and I'll give you some sounds if you guys want. You guys like sounds? I can give you sounds. Let's give you some sounds. Here we go. There's a sound. I didn't hear it, but yeah. So please smash the like button. It helps us reach more people and keep the conversations going in the chat, because I will acknowledge people in the chat, whether you give me a super chat or not. I'll just read what you guys have to say if I find it interesting or cool. So yeah, please consider being a part of the conversation. All right. So shout out really quick, Toasty with the Mosty 69. What's up, Toasty? John Ford, what's up? Master Goa, hello. Robert Johnson, what's up, all of y'all? Let's see what you're saying. Robert Johnson gives a salute, so I will give one back. John Ford says, I hope Stellar Blade Blood Rain runs better than the first game. Well, I mean, we'll get into that a little bit later. I didn't have any issues with the first game, but like on my old PC, but I mean a little bit, but like on the new one, I don't have any at all, except there are some like long load times and some shaders. I don't like the shaders thing, but that just seems to be like what modern gaming is now, a lot of that. So Master Goa says, I think I said it last time, but just in case, I like the new Vivian opening. Well, thank you. Somehow I lost some Vivian assets. I got to remake them. That's why my intros don't have the like chant saying, hit like and subscribe, because I lost that clip. And I gotta make it over again or find it or something. So anyway, I'm sure it's buried someplace. But anyway, what's up, guys? Welcome to the show. All right, let's get started. First, we're going to talk a little bit about Disclosure Day. So it's actually really interesting, though. This was like the new film from Steven Spielberg, who you guys might have heard of. I don't know if you guys know movies that well, but he's kind of a big deal in Hollywood. And in the old days, like when I was young, if Steven Spielberg had a movie coming out, everyone paid attention, right? Like, yeah. I mean, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, E.T., the Indiana Jones films. There's Jurassic
Jurassic
Park, like
Park,
it, you
obviously.
know, I think he did AI. It was
AI was one of those ones that was for me. I was, I guess I was one of the early ones who, because AI was, it was generally well liked and did quite well in
it had
theaters when I
the
worked
sap,
on.
yeah, the sappy
But
ending though, because I don't
right,
think
but
that's
it
what.
was one of the first. Well, I don't know. I don't know. To me, it was kind of one of the first real kind of like faltering steps of Steven
Oh, for
Spielberg, where it's
sure.
kind of
Yeah,
where it's like I don't
War
know
of the
what's going on.
Worlds.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's like seems like I'm getting a little bit of like
He was
predictive
starting to lose it a
programming
little bit.
kind of stuff in these movies, and just, I'm starting to kind of like wonder what all this is for. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know about AI. Like I watched AI one time,
you're right.
but I mean, I'm silly. I didn't mention Jaws or the Duel, which is like his first movie.
Or of course
Um,
Schindler's List. I mean, come on now.
yeah, Schindler's List. I like Saving Private Ryan more,
Right.
but
Yeah.
Schindler's List is an interesting bit of film based on fiction. But it is it is
Right.
is
It's a
it is
hat for a
well
hat.
made. I will say that is
Right.
well made. Generally, his stuff is well made. And he's produced a ton of stuff too. Like he was behind like the Animaniacs and the
Well,
Tiny
Amblin
Toon
Entertainment
Adventures and
in
stuff.
general.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But anyway, so he made this film Disclosure Day, and what's interesting is that well, first of all, it tanked. It did terribly in theaters, which is wild. Like I said before, anything that Spielberg is behind is usually like a smash. Like it's a guarantee. It's even if it's not good, it's guaranteed
Right.
to make money because it has his name attached to it. But it did not do well, and it was actually behind movies that are uh, quite like they've been out of a little for a little while now.
Hmm.
Like these like movies made by YouTubers, The Back Rooms, Obsession, and even I think well I know for sure those two. Hold on a second. My chair
Yeah, no worries.
is no, it's all
While
right.
you're
My
just
chair is sinking. What's with these hydraulic seats that like?
they sometimes they just
Yeah,
give
they
up the
just sort of
ghost.
lose
They
it.
just
Okay.
suck. Yeah.
Um, So as I was saying, yeah. So like these YouTuber movies that were recently released, Obsession and
Backrooms.
Backrooms, are still outperforming even Spielberg movies at this point.
And they're a
And it just
reflection
goes
of
to
the things
show,
we've been saying for quite some time.
yeah, and it goes to show how kind of fatigued people are of Hollywood, even if they're not like, let's say out and out activist,
Hmm.
people like the stuff that you get out of Disney.
Well, I think
Um,
the apathy is actually even worse than like the activist rhetoric, because once
yeah.
you get to this point, it's just like I don't know how you even come back, because I think that well, one thing I will say about the situation is I don't know that a fictional Disclosure Day is really going to move the needle when we could give two shits less about the government even going and saying, "Oh, look at this, look at this." It's like, why are you trying to distract me with this now? Yeah, and
Yeah.
so like, yeah, just a revelation of the method kind of reinforcement exercise movie is not really something that I'm like, oh yeah, all right. If it's on in the background at some point in the future, maybe I'll watch it. I just have no fucking interest.
Well, do you know what the general premise of the movie is?
Uh,
Or
it's
the plot synopsis?
it's supposed to be some kind of aliens are somehow connected to religion, or some kind of weird shit. Or at least that's seemingly like what to my understanding. There was stuff saying
So
there were people saying that you're going to have a religious experience watching
Spielberg
it.
said
So,
it.
yeah,
Spielberg said that. Spielberg himself basically said that this movie is going to make people question their faith.
right.
And I was like, we've had lots of movies about aliens, and none of them have quite done that because they are still movies.
Right.
But it's the attempt, the kind of like audacity of saying that is kind of hilarious to me. But But the thing is that I have this really good summary.
Mhm.
So I have a big fan of this guy. I actually got a chance to interview him once a while ago. His name is Jonathan Pajot, and Jonathan Pajot he makes videos mostly about storytelling. And he watched the movie. I guess he was like invited and went with a friend or something, and
Mhm.
he did not care for it. Now the critics are praising it, like the critics like
course.
it, but the audience is like meh. You know, they're lukewarm on it. They're kind of like not all that impressed. And again, this is Steven Spielberg. This isn't just some guy. This isn't Uwe Boll. This isn't like some like I don't know, like
He still
like
has his
Eli
credibility for
Roth,
whatever
like
reason.
yeah,
Not like say like Star Wars at this point in time. Like
yeah, like
it's a
guys
little bit
like
more
yeah. Go ahead.
debatable whether it's a little bit more debatable as to like when his movies come out, you think that they would have some level of interest that hasn't been completely
Yeah,
undermined by this or that, like something like Star Wars, just from the over pressurization of the message and all the other things. Like even he has that thing, he's not like making franchise movies. He generally puts out stuff that's just kind of like, I'm an auteur, here's my vision, so it is quite telling to see that people are just like, yeah, I don't have time for this shit.
yeah.
and going to smaller budget movies that are just more interested in getting right to the point and telling
Oh,
their
and they're just more entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, and they're more, they speak to people. So the problem with this film is it is made by a guy who's like in his 80s now.
Mhm.
So Spielberg doesn't really understand what the common man is interested in
Right.
because it doesn't
For a
speak to their
variety of reasons.
experience.
Right. Because,
Right.
yeah, immediately he's in his 80s, but he's also been like, just Hollywood elitist for decades.
Yeah, he's
and now at this
Hollywood.
point,
He's essentially
completely,
Hollywood
yeah, he doesn't know,
royalty.
he doesn't know how the world operates on just a fundamental level anymore. He's got far too many yes men around him and just people that will, even if he puts out something terrible, there's an entire industry in place to try to fire a wallet and do all that it can to carry water and support it, so yeah, he's definitely kind of beyond just straightforward my art speaks for itself kind of stuff now at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. This is actually a really interesting case we're looking at the differences. It's not really about rich and poor so much as it is about the generational gap. So like people like Spielberg and boomers, they have like, they're coming from a specific position that they see the world a certain way.
Right.
And their worldview is in conflict with the worldview of everybody else. Well, even like, I guess older
They're a bit
Gen Xers are like in the
pretentious,
boomer
but
camp,
not necessarily, I guess, in the
no, they
standard
have
sense.
this. Well, here, let me read.
I just mean
Jonathan Pajot
pretentious,
wrote-
and they're slightly delusional in the way that they look at things.
Yes,
because
but
of
they're also
their
they are
background.
living under a mythology. They're living
Right.
under the post World War II consensus mythology, which is
Right,
why
right.
all of Spielberg's movies are either about aliens, and they're asking, and that the answer to, I guess the answer to all of the world's problems is to abandon religion and embrace aliens, and or it's World War II pornography, like it's Holocaust porn, which is what Schindler's List is. Even if it's a well-made film, that's what it is. Like it's like all of those, like isn't The Pianist another one? It's not Spielberg, but like you can find these movies everywhere. I have like the Band of Brothers HBO series box set because I thought it was a really good show. But like it also leans into that towards the end. It's like, oh, they find like a camp and the sad music plays. But like the thing is that World War II was a long fucking time ago. And so like, we're like we gotta live under something else. Like that's like it's its own mythology at this point, especially with boomers, because they were either there for it or they were there after that, and they were taught about this stuff from their parents and their grandparents, and so they can't let that go. And it's become a problem because, like I said, like the younger generations,
Right.
not just because that they're choosing to forget, but rather they don't want it beaten into their heads like every day because they have real problems right now, and we're
Right.
still talking about shit from 100 years ago, so or nearly 100 years ago.
Yeah.
So like, let me just read Jonathan Pajot's thing on this, because this is basically my summary is what he said, because he watched it, and I think that he's coming from the same perspective as me, which is why I'm a fan of his. He said, I promise no spoilers as much as possible, but here is the basics for Disclosure Day. It is one of the most shocking pieces of propaganda I have seen in a while. It is the last call of the World War II consensus. Aliens are your saviors, and empathy is the only virtue. And that's important because that's what the aliens call for at the end of the movie, is they're calling for humans to be empathetic,
Right.
right? So it's so feminine too, by the way. But anyway, in a post-Epstein world, it dares have a story of children seduced and kidnapped by aliens pretending to be Disney-style animals, taken to Hansel and Gretel's house. This is what they call it in
Oh, dude, this is revelation of the method. Holy shit.
this is what it's called in the movie, is called Hansel and Gretel's house, to be imbued by aliens in a way so traumatic that they forget and repress it until they are adults, only to discover that this initiation
I'm gonna have
has
to
given
watch
them
this
the
for a whole
power
other
to
reason.
see people's secret thoughts. So this is what the aliens do, okay? They're what they do to people. They take away.
Oh God.
and
All right.
they-
From my own weird read on it, because I am that guy. Like this, like I say, this reminds you of revelation of the method of just kind of like, oh no, it's good that you're abused and traumatized as a child because it gives you special powers. Like this is some kind of fucking MK Ultra like
Yeah,
programming kind of.
yes. But it's done by empathetic aliens,
Right.
And
Right.
they whisk children away when they were little by turning into animals. Well, here's what what else it does is that this initiation has given these people the power to see people's secret thoughts, pretend to be other people, and use that to manipulate them, make things in plain view disappear, translate foreign and alien languages, and be a passenger for the aliens' message to the world. It's basically about possession.
Right.
This is nothing to say about its take on Christianity
Seduction,
and the
dude.
suggested apostasy around accepting these beings.
It's
Then
about
finally-
seduction and Chapman, straight up dark magic fucking ritual bullshit. Like I said,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch this for this whole other thing that I'm planning on doing. But
Then
But not
finally,
because
the
of
entire
the
movie
aliens.
is a final desperate appeal to the traditional media as the only purveyors of truth. This is the best part. The entire drama of the film is a man who has irrefutable video evidence and proof of aliens looking to release it. So this guy has actual proof of aliens and he wants to release it. The whole movie is a series of chases against the evil corporation that wants to keep it hidden. And the man ends up releasing it on the evening news, like mainstream media is where he
Right.
goes. Even though and
mainstream
again,
media will
whatever
help you,
reason,
everyone.
for whatever reason, the internet doesn't seem to exist in this movie. Like he could just upload it to YouTube or something.
Right.
But
It
for
seems
whatever
like if you want
reason-
the actual virality to hit like the masses appropriately without some kind of CIA involvement, or you can't put
Yes.
something on mainstream news and not have the government fucking overreach and go.
He releases it, okay, on the evening news, which is then transmitted to all the traditional media companies, which are named in the film: ABC, CNN, Fox,
God.
etc.
This is fucking a psyop to like get people to like this is trust the compliance, man. That's what this is. Just go
Yeah.
follow
Anybody
line.
under 70 will realize that the movie could have ended in 10 minutes with a laptop and a Wi-Fi. It is really mad. But what is the movie about? And so I see somebody saying, how is this arcade news? Well, my channel is a gaming and culture channel, so we're talking about film right
The
now.
week in culture,
It's culture, yeah. This is culture. But if you've never seen it, Disclosure Day, I may have spoiled a little bit if you were interested in watching it. So what the final message of the film is: God isn't real, religion sucks, although you should worship aliens. Because that's kind of what they do. The aliens turn people into like vessels for their message, and the woman, I forget her name, but the actress that's pictured there, she becomes like the prophet of the aliens, but she also doesn't want to be worshipped, but she is anyways, I guess. And she's like she's like, have you ever seen the film with I forget what it was called. Was it Contact? Where there were these aliens
Jodie Foster, the one where
yeah,
they
yeah,
drop
I
her
think it's
through
Jodie
the
Foster. I think
yeah, it's
so.
Contact. Yeah, where she talks to
Yeah.
her dad at the end, and he's God. And they made fun of it on South Park with the tacos that shit's ice cream.
I might be thinking about a different movie. There was one where this woman. It was like the whole film was a cycle. Like it was like basically time as a closed loop, and there were these aliens with tentacles, and they could speak with shapes. And then she like learned how to decipher their language. It might not have been.
Yeah, that sounds like something different than Contact. Because Contact, the whole thing was like he looks like her dad, and who
Oh
died.
no! Yeah, it's not Contact, but it was another film. It also it was I think the one I'm thinking of is newer than Contact, but still pretty old. But anyway, she's sort of like the main character, but she's also like a god in that. Essentially, she does everything well. It's like ultimate Mary Sue levels. Like Lindsay, she couldn't stand that movie. I just can't remember what it was called, but this is sort of similar. Like this character, Emily Blunt is her name. She's like like a prophet of the highest order, and everyone is trying to worship her, and she's like, please, I don't want that. But also what we also get from it is apparently only aliens can convince humans to be empathetic and abandon religion, and only the media, CNN, ABC, NBC, and Fox, can be trusted to tell the truth. That's why he has to get the message to the mainstream media to to convince people. And only a boomer like Steven Spielberg could think that that was really like an effective story, like that nobody would see all the holes in that. And that's why what I think is interesting about this movie is you got essentially one of the most iconic directors of American history, Steven Spielberg, who is completely out of touch.
Yeah,
it's
totally
not just like the young people, but like the world itself, because he still thinks that the only people you can trust for news are the mainstream media, and that's why he uses them.
Right.
And,
well, it's kind of like that thing
ahead.
about teaching an old dog new tricks and whatnot. The funny thing is, though, is these are the old tricks. All this stuff worked at one time, which is what you're saying with the boomer aspect being out of touch, and me calling it pretentious because of the mind state that just exists. But this does read, at least from the hearing of the read summary, that this is like some dark magic enchantment seduction ploy to just kind of like reinstill your faith in the powers that be, and also at the same time to not question too much, but also if anything should happen to you, it's probably actually a good thing. So like those aliens that harmed you or whatever, when they do the MK Ultra training, they use movies and things like that as part of the induction, and the inception of just kind of like enchanting you to be programmable and things like that. So as these people who are part of that kind of process age out and whatnot, they're getting just hackneyed in their nature, because they're not even being nuanced or sophisticated enough to actually be able to do the magic. And it's actually kind of nice, because it is a revelation of the method now, where people are just kind of seeing right through it. It doesn't have the power it once had, because it's just we know too much. We're too wise to be enchanted by just some low-level sorcery. And this is this is just parlor magic at this point.
Well, yeah. So the takeaway is, if you watch Disclosure Day, you need empathy. That's like the highest virtue, and you should trust the mainstream media. It's just like what would a boomer hippie say? Like it's basically their belief system distilled into a film that pretends to be science fiction. And I guess it, because Spielberg was always good at like, action and stuff, it does have some good action scenes, some chases and things like that. But if you're expecting something deep, Spielberg hasn't really been on his game probably since what was the movie you mentioned again?
AI. Yeah. That was 20
yeah,
years ago. I was working at Blockbuster still when that shit came out.
yeah. Don't forget Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Right.
It's another Spielberg movie.
Yes.
So
we wouldn't have the fridge meme without though. So
yeah. So yeah, I mean, you have been informed, and again, this is also showing, because this is actually interesting for a couple of reasons. Not only is this essentially the final boomer propaganda post World War II consensus movie, but it's also showing up just as these very small projects that are making a lot of money, like the Backrooms, like Iron Lung, like Obsession, which are made by YouTubers. That's going to be the new medium. I mean, we are the media now. Like not the people that the boomers are still holding on to, not the legacy media. That's history. That's the cathedral. That's the past. So it's interesting because you're seeing this happen, you know, and that, I mean, I don't think Spielberg has another movie left in him. Like he did this, and it's a massive failure. Nobody's interested.
He's not going to be bankable.
So,
but they'll still be invited to things, but nobody's like they're not going to give him the pomp and circumstance if he doesn't have the juice anymore, you know, so to speak. Then yeah, they'll find someone else to squeeze.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's it for Disclosure Day. I just wanted to share that because I know everybody's been talking about it, and I also, again, big shout out to the people behind Obsession, Backrooms, and Iron Lung. I will say though, for the Obsession, I guess the girl female director, she sold the rights to it for like a couple thou or something, which was a huge mistake. I think she could definitely have like gone places with that, but because that's, you know, that thing made bank. I mean, it's doing very well, and it's being like memed everywhere as well. So, but okay. So let us know what you guys think about this one in the comments. Let me look at what you guys are saying, and then we're going to move on to the next story. Let's see. Going up to the top here. John Ford says, I had some issues with the game. You talking about Stellar Blade, the original? Well, maybe there's been patches because, you know, I know when there's games that I played like right when they launch and they usually have issues, and then over time they smooth them out. I didn't have any issues, but I didn't buy the game for a while, so... Deadly Do Right says, yo. Norwegian says, hi, what's up? Mr. Ben Spastic says, for $1 on Rumble, thank you. G'day, Carnt, any spastic news? Lots? Well, some. It's not like I don't pick up on every story, just the stuff that I think I can like dig into a little bit more. I generally don't pay attention to drama, for example. But thank you for the Rumble rant, really appreciate it. Norwegian says, will it make Jews question Judaism? You know it won't.
Right.
You know that it won't. It specifically targets Christians. That's what they said. So no Muslims questioning their religion, no Jews questioning theirs, no Buddhists, you know, no Hindus, none of that stuff. Let's see. Yago Kuno says, hello guys, and he is super rich. Yeah. Miss Sparkle Tits says, John is the mythology. Oh, I see. Yeah, because we were talking about the mythology of the post World War II consensus. Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Ben Spastic says he's my fleshlight buddy mate. Oh, flashlight. I'm sorry. Maybe fleshlight. Maybe. John Ford says the real question was what kind of aliens? Well, from what I heard, they're the super generic gray aliens. So just the grays. You know, maybe I'm getting to the point now where I heard it was like grays. And the CG was really bad. Like it was like, you know, old, like, I don't know, Terminator 2 CG, like worse than Jurassic Park CG, which wasn't bad. I mean, Jurassic Park still holds up, in my opinion. So
a lot of those older ones actually do.
Because they usually do a combination of CGI and like, you know, animatronics and
that, and even the technological switch of going from actual film stock to filming on digital. That's part of the reason why we have the problems with movies that we do now, because you used to have to actually plan out everything, get your budget built on everything that was planned, because you only had so much footage that you could shoot, and you had to do the thing. And then And then when they now when they go to make like 4K masters and stuff like that, stuff that was filmed on actual film stock, easy. It looks beautiful, like almost like it was intended to be that way. But then if you take something that around the turn of the technology and all this digital stuff since, when they go and they up-res it, it's a much harder process because it's an artifact to begin with. It's artificial and doesn't have like the tangibility that those cells have and whatnot. So,
yeah,
that's like a whole other little just tangent about just making movies and shit. Never mind.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I just heard the aliens look awful.
Yeah.
Mr. Ben Spastic says Brian Reed's good. I'm not doing so good today, so I'm gonna assume that you're joking. Outstanding Man 2007. Greetings, everyone. Happy to join you all. Well, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Much appreciated.
Let's see. Mr. 0303 says a fucking alien. Gabriel Phelan Lucas says Brian killed the boomer. Arrival, that's the one. Arrival, yes. Now you understand. That's the movie I was thinking of.
Yes.
The chick in that, was it
God.
Amy Adams or something? I don't know, but I remember. Yeah, Arrival was not very good.
No, it was not. I've kind of gone out of my way to
really
block
smart,
it
but it
from my
wasn't
memory.
really that smart. So
Yeah.
Master Goa says believing the MSM will save you is the ultimate government propaganda. Yes, exactly. Isn't that strange? Like, how out of touch do you have to be? Yago Kuno says there are two kinds of science fiction: the positive and the warning. We get more of the warning stuff these days, though. I think that dystopian science fiction is very popular, and it has been for a while. I did like an interview with a guy who writes books about writing. His name is Jay Ishiro, and he's a very cool dude. And he does a lot of good research. He made a book called Boobs of Steel, I think it was called. He was talking about the reasoning behind like having sexy female characters in stories and where it comes from. There's like an archetypal history to it, like the Amazon lady and these kinds of things. These days, of course, it's all shunned. It's all shunned because of male gaze, which I'm going to get into later. But he does a whole historical thing going through every, step of it. And I had him on my show to talk about his book, but we also ended up talking a lot about science fiction because he's got like another book in progress. It might even be finished now, where he basically explains the history of science fiction writing. And it goes back to like the days of, like Isaac Asimov. And apparently around this time, there was a group of elite writers, or at least people that were anointed as elite writers in the science fiction genre, that were gatekeeping everybody out of it, that didn't essentially go along with whatever the specific trend was. So, they would say, well, all science fiction has to be cautionary, it has to be dystopian, or that's what they nudge people towards. And the people who don't do that, like the people who were around that wrote, but they weren't doing that sort of cautionary tale about sci-fi, it wasn't like they could be stopped, but they weren't promoted. They didn't get to like, top selling lists. The folks that were gatekeeping didn't promote them. They didn't talk about them. So you got like Robert Heinlein, right? The guy who created Starship Troopers. He was one of these sort of outsiders, right?
Kind of like the freedom of speech, but not freedom of reach. That
exactly.
About
they couldn't
with
censor them, but they didn't promote them.
Yeah,
and so you end up with, there's some, and look, I'm not against dystopian science fiction, but it's just the truth is that it's the overwhelming majority. Like, everybody wants to do their Black Mirror, their Twilight Zone, their Outer Limits type stories that all are like, oh, this is scary stuff. Cell phones are scary. And there isn't enough of the sort of like, well, here's like what it could look like, if humanity like continues and we continue to advance.
Right.
I think that's why Heinlein, who wrote Starship Troopers, he was trying to basically go into that. Like, this is what I would like my society to look like. And it wasn't like he could do it without having it be boring. Like, everything is fine. Like, there's a war going on. But yeah, like that's Jay Ishiro writes about that, and it's pretty interesting stuff. So All right.
Sounds interesting. We're sure.
Let's see. Yago Kuno then says, I'm more of a Stanislaw Lem fan. Probably aliens are more like Solaris than anything. The Benzo says, the last line of the movie should have been, listen, the aliens would like us to know all our world leaders are pedophiles, and credit.
Right, exactly.
Cooper's not going to do that, though. Then he says, if you like these great indie movies, watch $Positions, best comedy made in like 20 years. Oh, a good comedy is apparently Scary Movie it bombed hard too. Hoo-hoo! Man. Let's see. Gabriel says you can't patch a fundamentally poor combat system. I don't think that's his issue with it. If you don't like the combat in Stellar Blade, then that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
Yago Kuno says in Solaris, science is the one questioning itself, not Christianity. Oh yeah. There's a movie by Tarkovsky. Dystopian fiction corrodes if it exists without competition from aspirational stories. Scary Movie 6 sucked my balls. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't really even care for the first one because it was a little bit too I don't know, it was like there was too much like shock stuff in it that wasn't that funny to me, but it was just kind of shocking. And I didn't like I like the Wayneses. Like I liked their show in Living Color, and I liked my favorite Wayans movie is probably I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker, which is basically like send up of blaxploitation films. That's probably their best movie in my opinion. I didn't care for Little Man. I didn't care for White Chicks. I don't know if that's them. I didn't really care.
It is.
For the
And
Scary
there's
Movie
actually
movies.
talking about doing a sequel to White Chicks, although with the success or lack thereof of the Scary Movie, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Like I didn't, but like it didn't really do anything for me. So, but anyway, thank you for the comments. We're gonna move on to the next story, and hopefully you guys will have something to say about this as well. So, all right. So we got Stellar Blade 2, and we got a trailer for it. And I knew we knew this was coming because the first one did so much better than people expected. So the trailer and gameplay reveal for Stellar Blade Blood Rain is what they're calling it officially, have generated strong hype overall, especially among fans of the original, with excitement focused on visuals, combat, and the expanded cyberpunk universe. So it's, it looks good, but here's the thing. Not everybody was happy with this. And we got... we got some commentary, and it wasn't just from the usual suspects either. That this character Evie, who is basically the new protagonist of the game, so what they showed was, a lot of combos. It's going to be an aggressive, like the combat looks like an aggressive hand-to-hand brawler style. You do like punches. So she's going to be doing more like boxing stuff.
Fist of the North Star, man. God
I
hands.
like that. I mean, less blood, more sparks, but yeah.
Right.
And you have this character that looks kind of like this, right? Attractive female character. And people are not happy about it. And so what they don't like, there's a debate going on right now that find Evie's youthful appearance uncomfortable or gross when paired with her outfit and voice, sparking the usual discourse around sexualization, and people complain that she looks like a child. And I just want to, like, if you're getting involved in this and you believe this to be the case, I want to know, like, how you're going to be able to do that without giving ground to the people that we're up against, because they're all about leaning in that. Remember, they said this about every single female character that was made attractive in every game.
Right.
It wasn't just
the same thing about Eve in the original.
Yeah, they said it about Eve in the original game. Exactly. They said, basically accusing people of being into children, even though Eve is nothing, like, far from a child. In fact, even her smaller partner, like in the game, Eve is working with two other characters, one named Adam and one named Lily. And Lily is like a smaller, like more, let's say,
Petite.
what's the word I'm looking for? Like a lighter frame, like more petite character than Eve, but still an adult. Like you can tell she's, grown. And again, there's nothing sexual in the game at all other than the outfits. Like there's nothing sexual in the game. And so, but again, they use that on the original game. They use it on every game. Like every time you see, I think, what's Final Fantasy 15, right? There was a mechanic character. There was a woman. I think her name was Cindy or something, and she was basically the analog to Sid, who's like a recurring character in every Final Fantasy. I think, and he's usually like a mechanic character. And people were saying that character looked, too young. They do this stuff all the time. And
well, here's the thing just about Asian people in general. They generally have high collagen diets, and
about Asian people.
Yeah, like collagen keeps your skin taut and more elasticity and things like that. It makes you look youthful. So that's just a bad read on Asian people. They look young forever until like they're about 80 when it comes to Asian women, it seems, and then they turn into like little prunes. Just
Well, it depends. Yeah, they will. The age will hit them.
But but it's a slower rate, and so like anybody's like, oh, this looks like a 12-year-old. Like, dude, you watch that trailer. I have never seen a 12-year-old that looked like that.
No. And but the model who does the motion capture she's like in her 20s, or maybe even in her early 30s. And that's what I heard. I heard she was in her early 30s, but I didn't look it up yet. I could look it up, but it doesn't matter. Like, she's obviously an adult. And so this is just like, look, you have to understand that you're comparing Asian women in like countries like South Korea, which I believe that, this woman is from, who have a completely different lifestyle and diet, never mind the genetics, to like, women in their 20s in the West who are probably all on drugs and, they have like lip fillers and BBLs and they, like nothing about them is real, and they're on, GLP-1s and whatnot, and they smoke a pack a day, so they're not gonna. The problem is Western women look older than they should. That's the problem. It's not that
right. Yes. It's not the years; it's the mileage, and we put a lot of mileage in our food to make it deliverable.
Well, it's not. It's the lifestyle. It's all that stuff.
Yeah.
And ultimately, like, this is just like another attack on gamers for liking attractive characters. And and just for the record, there was something else hilarious that I saw. Let me see if I can find it. Oh yeah, right. So they put out a this was a SGF, so the Summer Game Fest, okay, and they put out this chart that talked about the best performing games at Summer Game Fest, and I just got to show you guys because this is like the games that got the most engagement, compressed coverage.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the games that got the best engagement, press coverage, and trailer performance, which probably just means watched a lot, not necessarily liked.
This is not analytical metrics in the sense of like why people are doing things, just what's the quantitative aspect of it. So this is just spin. Oh, look how much people are talking about this. It must be great.
100%. Yeah, and you can see here, God of War Laufey is number 1. And again, any press is good press. This is an example of that. They're literally they're not telling you anything except, hey, everybody's talking about this. That's it. Like, do what you want. Some of it is probably deserved. I think Zelda Ocarina of Time. I never played it before, but apparently that's getting remade. And it's a fan favorite. It's probably a lot of people say it's their favorite
30 years
Legend
old
of Zelda game.
It's probably their most I guess quintessentially masterpiece game, of the series, at least in terms of the rankings when it was done, back in '96. Metacritic, it's got the highest ranking of any game, technically.
Wow. That's quite the the commentary. So yeah, no, I can see how Legend of Zelda is a big deal. I can see how Resident Evil Veronica is a big deal. Some of this stuff I can see, but like Marvel's Wolverine, I don't know, man. I'm not. There's some people are hyped for it. I'm personally not, but like, because I don't see how. See, the thing is, just real quick on this Wolverine game, Spider-Man. I could see like the hype behind it. I played the first Spider-Man. I had the first one that Sucker Punch made. I thought it was a really well-made game. I have little criticisms, specifically the Miles Morales being in the game is one of them, but also the stuff, the way that they wrote, like Mary Jane, and some of the story decisions they made, I didn't care for. But in terms of like the experience of playing Spider-Man, it's like on par with like the
Oh yeah, the
Batman
mechanics are
Arkham
still
games.
good. Yeah,
Yeah,
but they've
it's on
had
par
they've
with
had
the
that
Batman
solid.
Arkham games in terms of like how the Batman Arkham games make you feel like Batman, like you're doing
Right.
Batman shit.
Right.
The Spider-Man games make you feel like Spider-Man.
Right.
And the
But
open
they've had
world
that
stuff.
part there in place for like since the PlayStation.
Yeah,
or at least
for sure. No,
PS2
Spider-Man
at
2 is
the-
still,
yeah.
everybody
So,
talks about Spider-Man
Yeah,
2.
mechanics are always spot on for Spider-Man, which is part of the
Well,
reason
they
why
have
they
to
use
be.
why they leverage it as one of the titles that they use for the messaging, because it actually does have good game flow mechanics and things like that. And so if you get caught up in that, well, then you're not going to notice so much when we put this in over here.
Mhm.
But there's literally trans flags everywhere in the game, and
Yeah,
just beaten over the head with the message every 5 seconds.
Yeah, for sure. Well, well, what I'm getting at is, in Spider-Man and in the Batman games, hold on, my phone's trying to talk to me. In the Spider-Man and the Batman games, the reason why it works is because you can travel around the area. It's like I would say open world, Batman Arkham City. You can drive around the Batmobile. You can go and fight criminals, whatever, do all this stuff. But you're
It
basically
gives you a little bit
traversing.
of autonomy to actually inhabit that role, and so it's kind of like kids playing with their action figures when they're young. You get to actually have a nice immersive experience of being the Spider-Man, being Batman.
Yeah. Well, again, with Spider-Man, you can swing all over the city. With Batman, you can drive around, fly, whatever, the glider. But with Wolverine, like, what is he gonna do? Like, run around everywhere? Like, just run? Even Hulk: Ultimate Destruction, another one of my favorite games. The Hulk can just jump all over the city, destroy everything. Like, that's the experience, right? I don't see how they're gonna be able to do that with Wolverine without making it relatively linear, which they probably will end up doing.
It is very linear.
And that's fine. I don't mind a linear game. I don't mind it, but it won't be the same, as like the Spider-Man game where you're like, I got to go here, do this, got to go here and do this. I just don't see how they're going to pull that off. But anyway, my point is, of the games that are listed here, I think that it's important to take into consideration that we're talking about engagement with this in terms of a conversation, not necessarily excitement or hype. Because I seriously doubt that God of War Laufey is that hyped. And note that Stellar Blade 2 is not even on the list.
Right.
And because I think that this is, again, they're trying to suppress that. And
I
discussion
don't really necessarily trust these numbers.
No, I would not. No, I don't trust them either. Not as far as
I've honestly heard more about Stellar Blade in the positive, at least in this last week, more so than anything else. Even along with the other controversies. So like when you talk about like what did people actually, that whole back half of the list that just looked like a flat, consistent line of interest. I haven't heard of any of this shit in the last week. So
Kingdom Hearts 4.
Nobody's talking about any of this in a
Gears
wide
of
sense.
War.
So the idea that Stellar Blade's not listed amongst this,
For sure, that's obvious.
Yeah.
And again, there's nothing wrong with attractive female characters, just saying. Like, and so I'm glad though too, is I think that the people at Shift Up, they basically they're not going to take it back. They're not going to apologize for it. As far as I can tell. And they're just going to go ahead and release it. Now, we're not probably going to see more about this for a while, because if you know how long it took for them to do the first one. But nonetheless, it doesn't really matter to me. Like, the way I see it is it upsets the right people. But having said all that, let me ask you this, because the thing that the reason why this is even a conversation outside of the sort of like, let's say the feminist worldview of, oh, it appeals to the male gaze and this other stuff. Let's set that aside for a second, because there are people who also are calling this a gooner game. And what I want to know is, how do you define a gooner game? And look, I think that gooner games exist. Like, I think that there are, because, well, I don't want to like say, I want to know what the audience is going to say. So I want to know what you guys think. How do you define a gooner game? Do you believe that there's such a thing? Does it matter? And what is it defined as? Like, what does that mean? Because, I mean, games that have fan service exist. Games that have like attractive female characters exist. Okay, games that have attractive male characters exist. But at what point, like, where is the line where it crosses into, oh, that's just a gooner game? I'm just curious. What do you guys have to say? I'll let John, if you have.
Well, I mean, for me, obviously, like the delineation of a gooner game versus a game that just happens to have sexy elements in it and things like that. Be a game that, like the stuff that you can get on Steam in their adults only section, like that is specifically geared towards the idea of like, this is basically JOI interactive, like, like that, those are straight up, like, that's their intention. This other stuff that gets lumped in just because it has sexy characters or characters that, like, some people freak the fuck out about because of their own insecurities, and then just try to undermine other people by, oh, you're a dirty gooner. Like, that's just, that's a cope, And so, like, a lot of the stuff that gets put under the gooner umbrella in 2026, I wouldn't even actually call, like sexy, like DOA volleyball, right? A very sexy based game. And
Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball. Yeah. Would you say that's a gooner game?
I'd say that that's about as close as it gets in console realm, but even still, you could play volleyball in it. So, like, the preponderance.
I mean, like, no, what? I wouldn't disagree, because from what I heard, and I could be wrong, but from what I heard about Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball, the gameplay isn't even that good.
No,
it's a bunch of mini games.
Yeah, I owned it. Like the volleyball's in there technically, but it's not like.
There is volleyball, but
right. But it's more about like
nobody plays it. I'm gonna beat you in this volleyball game. Like there's other volleyball games that are probably better. I don't know if there are volleyball games, but like okay, that's fair. I think
you can have even gooner elements like what is it? The Last Descendant or First Descendant?
The First Descendant, yes.
First Descendant, yeah, where they make DLC about like hanging out in hot tubs and shit like that. Then now you're kind of adding like some elements in there that are titillating, and depending on who you are, I think there's a shift.
What about
because that's kind of playing at the line, but it's not necessarily stepping over it into what are these, like the game is made specifically to give you a kind of sexualized experience,
Well,
but much like the old adage goes, if you try hard enough and you have the will, anything can be a dildo. The same thing goes for gooning.
100%. So that's the thing, right? Like, the problem with this is that because we don't define it, anything can be a gooner game if you want it to be, and not just for people who are looking to goon. I mean, even for people who are looking to like criticize everything, because you get like so you have the left, right? And the left, I'm going to use that just to simplify terms. They see anything that men like as a problem, anything, right? So they're going to come after Stellar Blade Blood Rain because it is giving men, which is the majority of gamers, what they think they want, right? Now, of course, what it comes down to in terms of sales is it a fun game to play? Because otherwise, yes, it is the First Descendant, right? So first you have that. And then you have on the other side, you have the people who have been like pushing back against this, but they're concerned about, PDF files in their ranks. So they're trying to like they're trying to expose them, but they're making the same mistake because they're seeing anything that has attractive females in it in the same way that the left does. It's just they're just not against attractive characters; they're just against PDF files, and and you get into this blurry territory, I guess, to them that where it can cross into.
It is also kind of interesting that they have this freak out about these gooners are like sexualizing characters that look like they're 12. Meanwhile, they're going to the pride parades and can't wait for Nambla to show up.
Yeah, they love the all of the
queer.
What is it from
drag time sword hours and shit like that.
Or the Last of Us DLC, the original Last of Us DLC with Ellie and that black chick who were both like underage. Like Ellie was 12, and the chick was 14 or something.
It's so empowering.
And they make out,
Yeah.
Or like, and again, those people were underage, but of course these people the left doesn't have a problem with that. Like they're totally fine with that because it's queer. It's it's a queer moment. These things are not. There's nothing weird about that, right? Let us do this to your kids,
right?
But the way, this is a little bit of a tricky thing for most people, but not for me, because I think what it comes down to is there are games that just exist to titillate, and they use that to sell the game. And I think that's when you get into Gooner game territory. Let me just say, to be clear, that doesn't mean that those games aren't good, or that people can't play them. I don't think it makes you a bad person if you're into that. Like those games do sell. The First Descendant, I downloaded it. I played it for a little while. Frankly, the gameplay is just not great. It's like a looter shooter, and you end up spending a lot of time going through all of your fucking upgrades and resources to like get max out your gun or whatever your abilities are. And it doesn't really go anywhere. Like I'd rather just play something like Borderlands if I want a looter shooter, and I don't really at this point. But like it's free to play, and they use the women to sell the game. Yes, there are even male characters you can play as in it. Guess what? Nobody plays them.
Right.
So, First Ascendant, I'd say that's a Gooner game. And it is in fact trying to be a game, but it's also that. There's a couple of other examples. Most of them are, from like the Far East parts, like South Korea and Japan. But again, I don't really care about that. Like games like Senran Kagura are, you could argue that they're Gooner games, but they're also games which are fun to play. They just happen to have a lot of fan service in them, and a lot, but that doesn't mean the game doesn't have any value in it. But if somebody said that Senran Kagura was a Gooner game, I wouldn't disagree. I'd be like, yeah, I could see that, right? And I wouldn't find it offensive or anything like that. It doesn't bother me if that's what you think.
Well, gotcha games are
gotcha games. Zenless Zone Zero, like
they're like uniquely kind of crafted for Gooner kind of content, because the whole idea of gotcha games, I'm going to get you to buy stuff that you like. It is just kind of like fan service on the hamster wheel of the game. Like how can we give you the thing that you like and keep you pressing the button?
Shift Up's game, Goddess of Victory, Nike, right? Goddess of Victory. Absolutely, I think that's a Gooner game. Like all it is it's you unlock waifus and you have the waifus fight for you. Nothing wrong with that. Don't have a problem with waifus. I'm just saying, like, if we're going to use the term, we should be clear and specific on it. That doesn't mean that Stellar Blade is a Gooner game. It just has an attractive woman in it. And I think, because if you make the argument that that's a Gooner game, then you have to say Nier Automata is a Gooner game too. But then the same people will say, no, Nier Automata is not a Gooner game because it's so deep. But Stellar Blade is, because it's not deep. It's like, well, Stellar Blade was obviously inspired by Automata, and you could say that Automata is a deeper story, but that doesn't mean that Stellar Blade is suddenly a Gooner game or something that is, I don't know, like lower end. I mean, Nier
so I guess what they're
obviously
suggesting
uses sexuality and sexual appeal to sell the game.
So by their rationale, you could make I guess Gone with the Wind, but plus fucking,
Yeah,
and that would, at that point in time, it's not porn, man.
Casablanca.
Right. Like, dude, that actually, you know what? There's money right there. Porn industry. If anybody in porn industry is listening, there's your next avenue.
Well,
just go and do retellings of old classic works and just have hardcore.
I think, Yeah, I
And it
think.
won't be porn because it actually has like really good storytelling.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, I think that there's porn games. Porn
Right,
games are
yeah.
porn games.
Yeah,
Those are
there's nothing wrong with
obviously
that.
Gooner games. That's why when
Yeah.
I say Gooner games definitely exist, they're basically porn games. But then there's games that are not great, but they use sex to sell them. There was this
Right.
one game. It was an action hack and slash, I think. I think it was called X Blades on like PS2 or something,
Mhm.
and it had
Vaguely
like
recall.
a hot chick in it that was wearing almost nothing, and it was sort of like trying to be a Devil May Cry type game, but it wasn't very good. But it did have a hot chick in it, or at least they were attempting to. We're talking about PlayStation 2, so
Right. Technical limitations of the time. Yeah.
yeah,
By those standards, it was good.
yeah, but like, and the thing is too is that you couldn't say that it because I think that is Marvel Rivals has also been accused of being a Gooner game,
Most definitely.
and this is another thing. Like, come on, guys, like that's a stretch. But I understand where it's coming from because here's the thing: by that logic, you'd have to say Marvel Rivals is one, Overwatch.
Mhm.
I already mentioned Nier Automata, Bayonetta. Are those all Gooner games too? Like this is
Yeah.
like this is
Anything with
something
a skin tight bodysuit on a feminine
it
form.
comes back
you
to
know,
anything that men enjoy
right.
that has attractive women in it. Like what's an attractive woman we can like? Tomb Raider. I mean, yeah, that's another one that it was a whole kerfuffle and justifiably so that Lara Croft looked a little bit manly in a few like, versions, and that they sort of like they nerfed her with the I wouldn't say remakes, but like the prequel games, I guess you could
Right.
say, like the later Tomb Raiders. So yeah, I mean, I think that the Gooner game conversation, whether or not something is one, it really should be simple and clear cut, in my opinion. So I want to know what you guys think. Do you think Evie looks too young? Like I know Asmongold said that, and I think he's wrong. I think it's silly.
It just looks like
Some
an
people can
Asian
look
girl in her
young.
mid-20s.
That doesn't make them young. It doesn't mean you desire young people. Doesn't mean that. And frankly, I think it's kind of insulting to hear it that way. But yeah, do you guys think that this is a Gooner game? And what do you guys think a Gooner game is? Like, where do you draw the line? What is it for you? So let me see what your comments are, and then we're gonna move on. Okay. Let's see. Norwegian Black Templar says I like the first scary movies, but I was in the right age group at the time. Yeah, I went with some people that were a little bit young. Miss Roll 303 says both political wings accuse gamers of being pedos. It's true.
Pretty much.
Frank Blaskowitz says they always confuse attraction with desire. Yeah, something appealing doesn't necessarily have to be,
right.
pants engorging, I guess.
Right. You can appreciate something without fixating on it.
Yeah. Gabriel says Blood Rain TM, not to be confused with Blood Rain TM. Blood Rain was that vampire one. That was another one that was using sex appeal to sell a game. I don't know that it was all that great though. Did you guys anybody play Blood Rain, the old one?
It was run of the mill. And then like the movie came out and it was what it was. And it performed about as well as you would expect. And then it's just never really been touched again. So yeah, I mean, it's all right. But nothing earth-shattering.
Yeah, and also these guys don't know what a tomboy is. Like she's got this tomboy look, and for some reason everyone thinks it means something else that it doesn't. I don't know, man. Some of the people like that are even on our side, just they make me cringe with their takes. John Ford says Eve looks better, but I will still get it when it comes out. Well, maybe you'll find her more appealing as time comes out. They definitely have outfits planned and all that. So
yeah, probably even hairstyles.
Gabriel says Korean women are among the most artificial. Yeah, I know that they do a lot of plastic surgery there. I'm just referring to the haggard state of Western white women. If I want to play a Spider-Man game, I'll just replay Spider-Man 2 on the PS2. You can find it. Wolverine could work if you give him an awesome motorcycle. Yeah, but then I don't know. I think that the only way that makes sense, in my opinion, is to just like have Wolverine. Just make the game linear. Maybe have some branching paths, but then you have to worry about like, you know how some video games do this thing where you take a character that's established, and then you take away his powers, so that you can give them back to him.
Build them up over
so
the
that-
course of the
so
game.
that,
Yeah.
so that the player, like, you can open up new paths. Like, oh, now you can climb walls with your claws, and like that's an example, right?
Mhm.
And now you can go back to that place back there that you couldn't get to before. I don't know that they should do that, because you want to feel. That's the thing about when you're basing a character on an established property.
Right. Well, it's kind of the Kratos principle.
Feel like the character.
When you start playing God of War, you're immediately a badass.
Yeah, you want to feel like Kratos, and yeah, there's like stuff you can get it through the game, but you should come in being Kratos, right?
Yeah.
This is like another like
very capable.
It's kind of like I don't know. Maybe there's a really good way to do it, but it's like there's this thing, especially with sequels, where you play the first game, you build your character way up, you beat the game, and then the second game starts and you
lose all the shit that you got acquired, yeah.
And now you have to like get it over again, or you get different stuff, and it's like, really? Like, can we do this another way? I mean, I don't know. Anyway, Wolverine Origins game is less of a movie game than this. I hear that's one of the really good ones, actually. The PS3 era, Xbox 360, they had some bangers. Let's see. There are Gooner games, but those are in your face about it and don't just have beautiful women. Yes, action adventure with Gooner elements. Gooner elements. Dan Silvers says there are Gooner games, but they're far more obvious than stuff like Stellar Blade or Tomb Raider. Yeah,
right. Exactly.
That's the thing. Like again, sexy content does not make, like, people will find reasons to wank. Like I said, when Overwatch launched, like Rule 34, is that what it is? Rule 34, fucking just like the traffic just skyrocketed. Blizzard didn't intend on that, but like this is the way people are. Hell,
yeah, I mean, people have been this way since Sears and Roebuck started fucking printing fucking catalogs and sending them to people's houses. Like, people will find a way.
Are they just trying to make like characters that you'll never Rule 34? Like, is that what they're doing? Is that what this is? Is that the reason, that Deborah Wilson is in everything? Is that so that we don't Rule 34 Deborah Wilson? Is that the reason they're doing this?
I don't think you could sexualize that.
I don't even. I can't believe I said that. Anyway, yeah, it doesn't matter how wholesome either. Like, Bioshock Infinite has that character in it. I don't remember her name.
People freaked out just a couple months ago about the chicken fucking Knight's Path, right? Rachel.
Oh yeah, Knight's Path. Yeah. Of Resident Evil, like, Ashley and Sheva and Jill and Rebecca, all of them. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, we're like looking at characters that are in the PS2 era made with like 10 blocks, like and then 10 polygons, and they're still being turned into pornography. So there's nothing, you can't really do anything to stop that.
Yeah.
Because it's not really a problem that's anyone's responsibility except the individual. If you think it's a problem, except the individual consuming it. So, and I'd rather let people choose for themselves. Let's see. Ergo Proxy says, grab the audience by the looks, keep them with the gameplay. Yeah, but that's the tricky part, is the second part of that. This is why, like, First Descendant had a spike in the beginning, because it came out when there was all these complaints about games like Stellar Blade that were in development. So a bunch of people started playing First Descendant capitalized
on the moment. They did. They were quite business savvy.
The timing worked out for them.
Yeah.
But then people realized that there wasn't a lot of game there, and so like, I think the First Descendant is basically like dead in the water now. People are still playing it, but it's not the same. But then you can look again. Guild Wars had sexy characters. Final Fantasy, all of those have sexy characters. Tifa, I mean, she's like a favorite. She's probably one of the top waifus of all time. Fighting
Tracer was like quite the big deal for the longest time. In Overwatch, right? Yeah.
Tracer, Widowmaker, Chun-Li, fucking Dizzy from Guilty Gear. Like, every game has attractive women in them, and any of them have and will be sexualized, and there's not much you can do about it. Soul Calibur, Ivy and Sophitia,
Mm-hmm.
So Taki, yeah, there's really, it just is what it is, right? John Ford says the Honey Pop games. Oh, I think those. I think I know what those are. Gabriel then says it depends on what you mean by gooner. When the Jordan Peterson.
Indeed, yes.
R.I.P. Senran Kagura. Is it dead? Norwegian says if Stellar Blade is a Gunnar game, then RE4 would also technically be a Gunnar game, which would be a ridiculous claim.
Right.
Yeah. Ada Wong. Ergo Proxy says, why is it that unprompted women all over the globe try to cosplay these sexy characters? Yeah, well, because the people who are against it, they don't want to address the fact that women like sexy characters too. Right. A lot of them do. Robert Johnson says these leftist freaks fawning over the oversized Dommy Mommy in Resident Evil had scratching my head. Does that make it Gunnar game? Yes, in fact it does. By their logic, yeah.
You're right.
They saw too many men turned women to remember what women really look like. That's true. Evie just looks like a woman in her early to mid 20s who still has baby fat in her face. I've known women like this. Yes.
Got good collagen, you know? Yeah.
Robert Johnson says any form of beauty that is aspirational to see or acquire must be subverted. Nihilism. That's true. That's it right there on the money. The spandex and Soul Calibur. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. It is about subverting. It is about, because like if you kill all beauty, then the people will be, let's say they will be demoralized.
It's kind of like meat for the hungry. If I starve you for a long enough time, I could give you a crumb and you'll act like it's a feast. And
yes.
So, yeah.
Yes, that's right. So, again, this is still very early days here with the release of the trailer for this, but I'm interested to see where it goes. And again, most importantly, I like that it's pissing off all the right people. So I'm gonna follow this, and probably I gotta tell you, I'm interested. I'm interested in it for sure. Okay, so let's talk about. Since we're on the topic of beauty, I want to talk about something else.
Indeed.
So there's this guy named Vim Cohn. I hope I'm not mispronouncing this. He's a character artist that worked on South of Midnight. Okay.
You know, when we were talking just a second ago about cosplaying, I was like, yeah, one thing you're never going to see cosplayed is South of Midnight.
No.
I was in my head, and I was just like, no reason to say it, but then you go and mention it.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so he was the artist that worked on South of Midnight for Compulsion Games. And he publicly confirmed that Microsoft has internal guidelines and corporate restrictions discouraging curvy or sexually emphasized female characters. Yeah. He warned developers against using certain exaggerated body proportions, typically understood as large breasts, hips, or idealized hourglass figures, in order to avoid sexualization and align better with diversity and inclusion goals.
Yeah, and actually, I would say this is a reconfirmation from somebody on the inside, because we've actually seen years ago they put out the internal memos on it. Someone did. It's just so this is just again more confirmation that yes, indeed, the checkboxing and all the diversity quotas and whatnot. Yeah, that's baked into the thing. From the top down, and you just have to you want to play here, you want to be on our game system, you want to get your funding to make these things, then this is how you're going to go about it. So yeah.
Yep. So he basically this was confirmed to be true, and I think that's the thing too that's interesting about this is they don't really have to hide this because they believe it strongly, right? Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and look at this.
But yeah, even without the documentation in place, that just is the thing that makes it so that they can say, well, you're a problematic employee if you don't fall in line with the dictates and start the, ideological capture process of everyone here believes the same thing. So we don't even have to have these, rules and guidelines in place, but we're just going to have it there just in case you're questioning what the directive is, and you want to like this. That's there to nudge you, and if you don't get the message, then get the fuck out.
Yeah. So I think that beauty is truth. And when you attack beauty, and when I say beauty, I don't necessarily mean what is sexually stimulating. I mean
Right,
like
right.
the beautiful, just seeing the beautiful, because that's really what they're attacking when they try to
Pregnancy,
prevent
you
this.
know, like motherhood is beautiful. Then they've found a way to
Sure.
undermine. Yeah, like just
Nature is
anything,
beautiful,
yes,
right?
yes.
Like
everything can be undermined and made better by for whatever reason that they're trying to spin it, but that gets away from the beauty that's inherent. That's just So yeah, no, I'm picking up Splinda.
Yeah, and I think beauty is truth, and I think truth is defined. So I think beauty is divine by that nature, right? That's my belief. And so when they're trying to shave off the corners of something to make it fit. There's a
Yeah, a
it's
lot of these
obviously an attack
plasticine
on.
women that we live amongst these days, even if they're like, fit and whatnot, I am not at all in any way attracted to like women that all just have this just I don't know, like the Stepford wife face that's just full of Botox and bullshit and just it's all like contour management through makeup or crazy ass surgeries and this and that. I don't know, like there's a point to which you're curating just kind of goes overboard, and I just you cease to be even a person to me at that point. I'm just kind of like, oh, well, you're just product placement on legs,
Yeah. And yeah, so I think that this is like, it's designed to destroy us. Like our will to live in a way. It's an attack on that. Because if you like make everything ugly everywhere all the time, it eats away at you, right?
Right.
And I think that's what they're trying to do. And this is why there's so much outrage whenever an attractive female character in anything shows up. So they're not just doing this in gaming, but it is widespread. Now, what is the reason for this? So the theory, and I mentioned this before, but I want to reiterate this is the male gaze the concept was created by Laura Mulvey. The theory that media is primarily created from a heterosexual, heteronormative male perspective that objectifies women. This drives criticism of sexualized female characters, such as the curvy designs in Stellar Blade, pushes for realistic or less attractive female protagonists, and influences camera angles, outfits, and animations to reduce perceived exploitation. There's also commentary on hegemonic masculinity. This is another thing that they're trying to end. The belief that traditional male traits such as strength, stoicism, competitiveness, and aggression are harmful and culturally enforced as opposed to biological or even evolutionary. This results in weakening or villainizing strong male leads, emphasizing emotional vulnerability, or portraying masculinity as a problem to be fixed in stories. Exhibit A, God of War 2018.
Historically speaking, things are heteronormative because without heteronormatives, you wouldn't have history. Like that's kind of how like we propagate as a species. That's that's just human nature. Again,
Yep.
It's too heteronormative.
Some more woke terms I want to reiterate for people who don't already know about it. This is all the stuff that's being considered when they go into these artistic directions, right? Does it appeal to the male gaze? Well, we got to stop that. Does it appeal to hegemonic masculinity or toxic masculinity? We got to stop that. Does it appeal to patriarchy and privilege frameworks, the view that society and thus default game worlds are structured around systemic male/white/straight dominance? Decisions informed by this often involve decentering straight white male protagonists, making them flawed or secondary, and elevating marginalized characters as inherently more moral or insightful or enlightened. But I would argue to add to that it's primarily male characters, not necessarily white. Yes, but that's like a proxy to like make it more acceptable to demonize men, is to make them white men. So, but they're ultimately attacking men, because if you notice in a lot of modern media, when you do have minority characters that are male, like Hispanics or blacks, they're very feminine, passive, soft, or otherwise vulnerable. They've been basically emasculated to some degree, or they're just gay. Like they're like Saints Row remake, anybody, or whatever the new Saints Row was that nobody wanted to play because it looked like, you know, a bunch of theater kids. Like that. What was the original Saints Row franchise before that? Like,
It was
why would
very
you go
much
after
just the arcadey end of GTA. You know, it was just
a
sandbox game of sorts.
It was an alternative to GTA.
Yeah,
and from what I can tell, I mean, I never played the Saints Row games, but
the first one especially was just kind of more of a sandboxy juvenile take on GTA, which is saying something. Yeah,
a juvenile take on GTA, yes. Intersectionality, Kimberly Crenshaw, the idea that overlapping identities such as race, gender, sexuality, etc., create unique forms of oppression. In practice, this leads to characters being written as bundles of identity traits, where a black female character story must address compounded oppression, often prioritizing messaging over individual personality or the needs of the plot. South of Midnight. DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, the core framework. Diversity means increasing representation of women, racial minorities, and LGBTQ plus characters. But remember, this usually starts with women, and that's often good enough. Which is why, like, a lot of the teams now, I think there was like a recent photo of like the team behind this new God of War game, and they showed like the folks at Santa Monica, and it was like mostly women, and like, you know, women that don't look as good as your average South Korean, let's just say.
Right. Well, you're right. Well, you know, the irony in all of this is one of the things that they complain about specifically is exactly what they are. They're colonizers. They're ideological colonizers. Right. They're trying to establish a colony and then overtake the entirety of the market that is framed within gaming. And yet they want to complain about things like colonizing culture and all those, you know, like, and it's like the projection is just beyond laughable at this fucking point. And that's why I think, you know, we are seeing kind of the breakdown that we are within the AAA industry and everything, because it's so fucking apparent and on the nose at this point. People just, you know, I want escapism because the world itself is just draining already. And if I have to deal with that throughout the week, I need some kind of balance in my life. And
I agree.
The idea that we have to have nonstop messaging everywhere we go, that's the reason why they're like, why is it that people can't be more compassionate to each other? It's because you never fucking relent. You never let up. Right? You know, like, give people some fucking space and some room to breathe, to go just kind of like do what the fuck ever. And maybe they'll be less fucking off-put by just even the thought of you, let alone your presence, or trying to engage in, you know, a conversation that's not going to be happening in good faith, unfortunately, to be quite honest, because you've already come in with this moral imperative that you have to do something to save us from ourselves. You know, it's fucking retarded. Completely disingenuous bullshit. You know?
Yeah. Okay, so so they also so diversity, like I said, is that equity focuses on equal outcomes rather than equal opportunities, sometimes leading to changes in character design, race and gender swaps, or altering power dynamics to balance representation. Almost always comes top down, by the way. It's like they are the central planners of the games industry, which is a very Soviet way to do things, but like, look at who we're talking about here, right? And then inclusion emphasizes making marginalized groups feel welcome, frequently through sensitivity consulting. And that is, of course, it is exclusionary by nature. But these are like the things that they go into when they are developing anything. And that's why they uglify characters, because they appeal to the wrong people. The irony of this, too, though, is that this artist, this guy that worked on South of Midnight, he was just trying to do work, but apparently he wasn't really thrilled with these artistic restrictions that Xbox was putting on people. And look, I just want to also say it's not just Xbox. This is just where it was exposed. This is everywhere, just to be clear. But go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say I still prefer my name of for that game, which was South of Profitability.
Yeah, South of Profitability. But I looked up this guy's art, Vim Cone or Con. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. And he doesn't have a problem doing attractive female characters at all. He's very good at it too. So this is a model. He made some artwork. This is a what do you call him? A Twi'lek dancer from Jabba's palace in Star Wars. Has a really cool style to it, and he made a 3D model of it. He also made this model of Harley Quinn from the Batman Arkham games. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
So this is the Arkham design, and he's very good. Like this guy could have been working on something good instead of
right
South of Profitability. And here's his ArtStation website as well, where he made a fully 3D model turnaround of Lara Croft from Tomb Raider in a way that looks, like
holy snap! That is a game I would buy.
Yeah, did you not see that? Let me go back to the beginning so you can see it rotating.
Yeah.
No sound necessary, but he made this, and this guy, he could have been like, this is the kind of stuff we could have been getting.
This is a guy who understands gestural form, like he totally gets, proportion and mass, and yeah. Time well spent in art school.
Same guy that did South of Midnight, same artist.
Right.
Just saying, same guy. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So sometimes, because sometimes, it's not a matter of your talent, skill, and ability. It's just your the overreach that allows for you to, or I guess limits what you're capable of producing.
And he's not even really doing this for just doing it for himself.
Exercise.
Yeah, he's just doing this for himself. He also has this one. Might be a little bit risque. No, but I think it'll be okay. So this is another. I think this is another Lara Croft sitting.
It's totally
on a chair. So yeah, I mean, apparently the artist doesn't have
a better world
with the male gaze.
Yeah, in the better world, those models were used for advertising of the latest great Lara Croft experience.
So, and this is not a new policy that Microsoft again has. It's from 2024, if not earlier. But I just thought I would share this with you all. That this, we're not crazy. This has been happening. It is on purpose, and now we know it for sure. Speaking of Tomb Raider, so this video clip has been doing the rounds. It's gone viral. And I'm going to share it with you guys. I hope that this will play. It may not. Let me check. No, it's not playing. Nope. So I gotta stop sharing and then do this over again. It'll just take me a second.
Yep.
But let me look at your comments in the meantime. I should do that before we look at this.
Indeed.
All right. Let's see. Women are beautiful. Women are now gooner bait. Yes. Ergo says Taki and Soul Calibur 2 had massive gazongas. Wowie. Then says Stellar Blade proved in the same trailer release event that no, men are not afraid of playing a woman character. Yeah, but they don't want you to play a woman character you're attracted to.
Right.
You have to understand how they think, okay? It's not about just a woman in the game. It's about whether or not you find the woman appealing, and that's where they take an issue with it. So, again, this is why Marvel Rivals, despite the fact that it has a pretty disproportionate amount of female characters in it, they're going to call that gooner bait too.
Yeah. Well, it's like to some degree,
fact, because they're like, well, where's the queer representation? Where are the fat people?
Right. In some ways, it's like because these women can't actually be legitimately domineering and alluring in a way to have that control. They're just being passive aggressive and trying to do it through the back yeah, like through a side avenue and just making it where it can't be avoided. It's jealousy.
Yep. Great Indoors says, look at this very evil vampire lady. Be scared, average male gamer turned gooner. Yeah. Master Goa says, if I remember right, there's a picture of the current Bungie team, and it's now mostly women. That explains a lot, doesn't it? Marathon? Anybody? Bungie deal was like one of those pump and dumps. Somebody made a ton of money selling Bungie knowing they don't have real devs anymore. The ultimate scam. Wow. Frank Blaskowitz says, just another sellout? Is that what you meant to say? Maybe. I don't think the artist is a sellout. I think he's just trying to get work wherever he can.
He already had a job possibly.
And well, he's trying to get work wherever he can. I mean, he's got to work.
Just in the it's just kind of the nature of the thing. It's kind of like I don't
I think that if he pretended like he was all about the work he did for South of Midnight, he probably just made the most of what he had. He was like, well, I got to do this. So.
Right. It's kind of like if actors act well, but they're in a shitty movie, but they don't really go and try to proselytize for it and do all the messaging on the outside. It's like, it's whatever, you're getting a paycheck.
Yeah.
Like you can't really control the shit that's written for you if you because people have bills and this, that. So like there's a certain level of you have to kind of look at it more in like the holistic kind of aspect of who they are. And this is just a guy who's just an artist. He can't really be in control of the art direction that's why they have art directors, and the art directors work with these consulting firms and all the a lot of people that just have their head down and just doing the work, they wanted to get into the gaming industry to do the things that we would appreciate as a gaming audience. They just are, their hands are tied. It's kind of like, I don't hold it against the soldiers and the men who want to go and serve in the military, who have idealistic principles and values that are then undermined by, the military industrial complex and their wider mechanizations. Like, I'm not going to hold that against a guy who's trying to just do right by, his I guess, principles and his values and what his interests were. And he got into the position honestly enough, but he can't do anything necessarily where he's at other than what he did, which is, I think in going to X to say, this is exactly the constraints I was under, goes to show that he's not a sellout.
And again, if he was, he probably wouldn't have shared that information about, like, where basically there was a leak on Reddit about this Microsoft policy, and he went on there. I think it was in Reddit. It might have been X. Actually, no, I think it was X. And he went on there and replied and said, yes, I can confirm this is true. Yeah. So all he did was confirm the suspicions, and he didn't have to do that. So big ups to that guy, to Vim Cone or Vim Con. Marin Rabarek says, original Harley is superior to any modern version. I agree. The original one from the Batman animated series, which is where the character came from. It didn't exist in the comics before. But of course, now that she's out there, she's completely ruined because people can't help themselves. But okay, so speaking of Tomb Raider, we just looked at, there is still excitement for the new Tomb Raider, Legacy of Atlantis. And I'm actually one of those people. I'm interested in it. But the original voice actor, or not the original voice actor, the voice actor, Alex Wilton Reagan, the voice actress for Lara Croft, said this in a recent interview, which may hurt sales. So maybe tell your celebrities to shut up.
And one of the best feedback that we've had about this game and the people who are playing the demo is the men are getting this confidence, this kind of Lara Croft charisma and sheen. It's not just one for the women, it's the girls, it's the guys, it's the gays, everyone's loving it. So we're just really happy that it's kind of resonating.
Did you guys know that Tomb Raider was not a thing until the demo at this fest? Did you guys know that? Did you know that Tomb Raider could also be played by men?
What?
Yeah. It's okay for you to play it. Did you guys know that? Did you guys were you not aware that Lara Croft is for the guys, the girls, and the gays? Did you guys know that?
What was I doing 30 years ago playing it then? I don't know. I don't know.
I,
guess
look,
I'm a
I
weird
think
one.
that she's trying to sell the game.
Yeah.
She's trying to say this is for everybody.
Yeah.
But it's cringe because we know it's for everybody. Why did you do that? Because you're just gonna hurt your sales, I think. So, and of course, some people are defending this. They're like, "Oh, if you take issue with what he said, you must be homophobic or whatever." It's just shitty marketing. It's really bad. And yeah, Tomb Raider's always been a product for boys.
Yeah, and if you ultimately are just trying to say it's something that everybody can find entertainment in, just say that. Say less. Don't get into like the specifics of, oh, the girls, the guys, the gays, it's just say everybody. You don't need to go and overcomplicate this and try to like, just hit every lifestyle group. Just talk like a real person, everyone.
Yeah. Nuts, bro. Okay, so yeah, so this is probably going to, like I said, hurt the sales of Tomb Raider, I'm afraid. Yeah, but I don't know. We'll see. Well, it's just a weird thing to bring up.
If it becomes a pattern, then I think that definitely. If it's just something that's just kind of like a one-off, kind of, all right, maybe we can just kind of misinterpret it like you could have said that better, but and it might be water under the bridge a little bit, but not
for the record, it was never for the gays before.
Right.
This is official, so they've obviously just opened the doors and allowed this, and I personally feel like something should be done about it.
It's fantastic.
I like Lindsay loves the Tomb Raider games probably more than I do. I played them, but I remember when I got the recently remastered ones and she was playing them a little bit. She remembered things that I didn't remember,
Right.
and she also played like more of the games. But I was never like, that's for girls. Like what? No, like Tomb Raiders. And it's not. I mean, this is just like how completely, like, I don't know what it is, out of touch people that are working in the industry are with the actual like customer base.
Yeah.
Like, are you seriously convincing us? Like, you might as well have said, "Hey kids, have you heard about the newest game coming out? It's about a female explorer that goes into ancient ruins and finds treasures. She raids tombs. You know what we're calling it? Have you heard of this new thing?"
Right. Yeah.
It's like a spiritual successor to Uncharted. Have you heard of the Uncharted games? Those are old, I know, but it's, oh my God.
Corporate over homogenization.
It's just
completely
like, it's just the people, they're just showing their ass when they open their mouth. It's like, it reminds me of the guys that worked on the Star Wars Acolyte, and the guy's like, the one thing about Star Wars is that there's no right or wrong or good and evil. It depends on where you're standing. What? Right. No, that's literally the opposite. You're completely off.
You do not fundamentally understand like the whole concept.
You might as well be saying, you know, my favorite part of Harry Potter is when Gandalf is when Gandalf got the glaive, you know, and used it to defeat Skeletor. I don't know. Just it's just like
Optimus
so
Prime was there, dude.
cringe,
It was amazing. Man. You don't remember that scene?
I don't want to hear from these people about this stuff. Is kind of what I'm saying. So
yeah, seriously, what I was just saying a moment ago. Just shut the fuck up and do your job, and it'll probably just don't worry about like the other shit, and we'll probably just be able to just respect the work to speak for itself. And please just shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, let me see what you guys are saying, and then we'll do a little cake and then wrap it up. So,
Indeed.
Master Goa says it's funny because a woman's looks is another aspect of her power, sex appeal / or visual psychological tactics. Yet they would take that away from her.
Mhm.
Well, they don't want that to be the trait that defines them because the people who do this stuff, they're not attractive. So ultimately, a lot of this stuff is just like mate suppression. It's like mid women and unattractive women trying to make life as hard as possible, not just for men, but for attractive women that want
Mhm.
that that like men, like attractive
Right.
women that like men.
Right.
That's
So,
why they go
envious.
after like whatever thoughts are out there.
Well,
They
these people with their pretty privilege, they've just been
Yeah.
given so many advances for so long that these mids and just
Yeah.
lessers they've just been oppressed, you see, and so they have to reset the balance. It's equitable. We need equity of outcome, don't you know? And these pretty people, well, this is Harrison Bergeron. This is the fucking story of Harrison Bergeron that we're living through in our day-to-day life. Let's put a clown nose on that. Let's make him walk around with 30 pounds of fucking chains, and then he's got shackles on his fucking ankles and all this. That's all this shit is. How much can we weigh you down just so that we can try to deny the beauty within, as we were mentioning earlier?
Yep. Okay, so Ergo says, for me, Lara either has triangle boobs or it's not my Lara. Mr. 0303 says, bringing in sexuality tells more than she intended, for sure. Again, I think she's pandering, and it's just kind of sad. Like,
Right.
really? Like, I hate that you even have to say that. Like, why don't you just say, I hope you like the game? Like, when the Japanese come out, a lot of times, not always, the Japanese come out and they're like promoting a video game, right? And their English isn't great. So they'll just say some shit in Japanese and they'll have somebody translate, or they'll work hard to get out an English sentence, but it's always the most humble thing. Like, we hope that you like the game. We worked really hard on it, and here you go.
Yeah.
Like, just do that, okay? Don't try to sell it to me. Like,
I think
I'll know when I see it.
Yeah, I think just about every interview with Hideo Kojima, he always ends with, "Did you like it?" Or "Did you like it?" Like after a reveal, and they go to get his, because that's there's a way to talk to people and have an experience with them, and then there's also a way to talk at people and try to project messaging, which is what that shit is.
Yep. Ergo says, how long until Lara Croft is trans? They already did it to Wonder Woman. Oh, they're working on it.
Yeah,
they're working on it. Like they do it in small steps though too, right? So first they sort of like make them look less feminine over time. And with Lara, it's kind of like obvious when they do it because she's
and it already happened because we had
yes, they did the artwork. There was the animated series, I think.
Yeah, with the Troon creative director behind the Netflix series.
Yeah. They were already trying to do it, but they haven't canonized it yet. But they've been chipping away at it. And
Larry
Samus
Kraft,
too.
as I called him.
I remember when Brianna Wu claimed that Samus was trans.
Right.
Because you thought it was a man, and then at the end it was revealed to be a woman. So I guess I always thought the surprise worked the other way, but okay. But that's just a thing that they do because they're trying to write over reality. That's what they're trying to do, and they think they can do it with words, but it doesn't work that way. So
because if Samus were a trans allegory, you should start off as a woman in the Zero suit and then go get the shell to be seen as a man. So it kind of completely undercuts the whole basis of Troon logic. Like the way that people see you on the outside doesn't matter. It matters who you are on the inside. That's the whole point of Samus and the strength of her feminine character.
Yeah.
You dumb fucks.
And again, in both of those cases, Lara Croft and Samus, we wouldn't know who they were if it weren't for men buying the games and playing the games and talking about the game. Like that, like these are only icons because men spent money on it and time on it and took an interest in it. That's the only reason. So you literally can't sit there and say it's for these people when the majority of the people who made it possible for this to be a thing were men.
Right.
That's just true.
Unless you're colonizers,
So,
ideological colonizers, just trying to
Yep.
come into someone else's lands and take it over.
yep. Okay. I'm not a fan and don't care. I already think they already tuned out Lara for Netflix. Yes, I believe they did the animated thing, or at least made her like less
Yeah,
Lara.
He looked
But
very
I heard
much
that was
like
a terrible
Larry.
show too.
Yeah.
Let's see. Great Endora says, software team lead. Where are the fat representing characters? They're all on the Ozempic train. Choo choo. In before the Ozempic Olympics. Okay. No, because that would even then, that means you're trying to improve yourself. You shouldn't have to do that. See, you shouldn't have to do that. You should just be loved and accepted for who you are, whatever you look like, all the time. So that's just not acceptable, guys. Come on. All right. So Cake. Somebody sent me, I think, a super chat either last week or a couple weeks ago to recommend a game that I did not look up. And so if you were that person, I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, I can't remember stuff either.
Yeah, please let me know. But in the meantime, I was going to say that if you like Friend Slop, Berglund Gnomes, which I played the demo for a few times, has released the full release. It's about $9, and it's pretty fun. I don't know if you've seen. Let me.
Yeah, I think we watched it here before briefly at one point in time. Definitely
full release
we'll check it out
trailer.
again. Yeah, nice.
We'll take a look at it. The trailer for it. It just shows you the full. Where is it? Oh, here it is. And I'll full screen. Oops, that was a mistake. Did not mean to do that. There we go. And then full screen it. Let's see if it plays sound.
Yep.
So you're basically, I think it's up to 4 players. You go into a man's house. You have to like accomplish certain things on a list, and make sure you don't get killed, captured, or otherwise inconvenienced by the man who lives in the house.
You ever get to grab people's underpants?
You can get underpants, yeah.
All right. So,
And they've added, like, there was a demo out for a long time. They've added, like, new areas, a bunch of new stuff. You can even upgrade your gnome house. Which I haven't really gotten to do that
you know what I'm saying?
So that's out on Steam right now. And again, I don't know if the demo is still up there. May have taken it down. So that was one. The other thing too is, so I watched, there's a channel I watch sometimes. There's a couple of channels. So like the normies, I wanted to talk about this real quick. Maybe that'll be the only bit of cake because I really want to get to this.
Yeah, no worries.
The normies, and what I mean by that are people who are not, they don't talk about the culture war stuff. They may not be interested in it, or maybe they're not fully aware of it. They're just kind of like going about their business. And we have these normie content creators that talk about video games that don't get into politics at all. They don't get into cultural stuff at all. They just want to talk about like what they like, what they're hyped for, whatever, right? They want to do game reviews, they want to do playthroughs, they want to do commentary, previewing, things like that. I have noticed that more people in that sphere are waking up to what's actually going on. They are aware of the problem. They're aware that there's something wrong in the games industry or in the film industry or whatever, and they're starting to like, it's causing them to want to look into it and try to understand it. And of course, when they do that, they start asking questions, and then the people push back on them and they say, you're starting to sound like one of those gamer gators. You're starting to sound like a bigot.
The noticing will continue.
I'm just asking questions about this stuff. And I think it's really interesting because I think that that's the thing that we have to get to if we're going to win. We have to like convince, or otherwise nudge the normies towards our side. And it doesn't take that much work because, again, what we're trying to accomplish is already happening because we're at the negotiation stage, right? The bargaining stage of loss, of accepting the loss, which is what the industry is doing. They're pushing back. And I don't want to say, part of me was going to say AAA, but it's not that. It's the industry itself. It has like an infection, right?
Oh, you just media in general to what you're saying about like the acceptance of loss. Star Wars, obviously incredibly just creatively irrelevant at this point in time, with Mango and Grok not being able to really elicit even so much as like a fart of excitement. Doctor Who completely getting officially canceled this week. Star Trek.
Yeah. Doctor Who is getting canceled.
Yeah, I mean,
people are pretty sure of it. Yeah.
I mean, it's just at a time where the messaging came on too hard, too often, too strong, and yeah, even at that level of people that don't even want to encounter this and don't even think about it too much, just stuff they turn on, they're not even wanting to engage with this shit anymore. So yeah, the noticing is taking place for sure.
But the normies are waking up, and I've seen 3 content creators that normally don't talk about politics at all or culture war stuff, and they're not just like realizing something is wrong, but they're also realizing where it's coming from and why it's happening, or they're getting close to it. Legendary Drops is getting very close, and I like his channel. I watch it sometimes. He just does a pretty good job of putting things together. And there's a channel called Dafeng, Dafeng. It's kind of a weird, but he uses a lot of AI to help with his scripts and stuff, but his videos are pretty good. And again, he also is recognizing that this is straight up communism, and he like lays it out in his like most recent video about the reactions to Stellar Blade and God of War Laufey, of course, because that's like the other side of it, right? What they're promoting versus what they're trying to suppress.
Right.
And there's a film YouTuber named Jester Bell who makes videos about movies, and she specifically is interested in like the same kind of stuff I'm at, like fantasy, science fiction, superhero stuff, like stuff based on like geek culture. And she is also like really waking up to like the feminist messaging that's going on, and they're not quite at the point where they're ready to like be like me, but like they're getting there, and I'm okay. I encourage that because I think it's getting to the point where they can't ignore it, like the problems with like the Odyssey, for example.
Right.
That we have basically learned that the adaptation, it's almost 100% sure that the adaptation that Nolan is doing of the Odyssey is based on a feminist interpretation of the Odyssey. It's not like the actual, because it's been translated a bunch of times, but there was a feminist woman that translated it and changed things, and that's the version that Nolan is supposedly adapting, which doesn't surprise me at all.
Right.
Because again, this is just the order of the day.
Right. Well, like that's the thing, though, is a lot of this stuff with the activist mindset is ultimately corrosive to their own ends, because someone we were covering, someone it was Gary was covering the cancellation of Doctor Who this week, and I watched a video on it, and he had a response someone had given to Russell T Davies on his whole little cope speech about, we've been victimized by all these ists and phobes thing that he put out, and he's basically said, how dare you, when you're the one who did this overreach and undermined like the stability that nobody gave a shit about people being gay. That's why you got the job to do stuff at Doctor Who 20 years ago when you were brought in as the creative head, but then you couldn't even just appreciate the fact that you were at that level of acceptance. And you just started, we gave the mouse the cookie and then asked for a fucking cup of milk and then got tired. So wanted to have a fucking, and now you own the fucking house. And so we just decided to burn it down because you're never leaving, so fuck it. I'll just burn the house down while you're in it. I don't care.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the normies are waking up to this stuff, and they're also like looking into where it's coming from. And I'm seeing that more, which is, it's about fucking time. But like, that's what I think, if you have access to normies, like friends or whatever, and the topic comes up, I wouldn't be like crazy forceful, but I would ask questions like,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
do you think
let them
about
let
this?
them go on their own journey of self-discovery,
Yeah, let
and you can just
them-
be a
like-
Sherpa
Yeah.
rather
But
than
like,
trying to lay down yellow paint for them to follow.
Right. Yeah. Don't give them yellow paint.
Yeah.
But like, ask them if they go to the movies, for example, and they watched like, you know, whatever they're told, whatever the new slop is, and they're not pleased with it. That's usually an opening. And like, well, why didn't you like it? What is it that you didn't like? And see if you can get them to get to a point where they're like, you know, something about it just doesn't like, or I don't like what they did with this character. And then they might go, well, I don't have a problem with female characters, or I don't have a problem with, you know, blah blah blah. And then just be like, well, but if they did this, you know, under different circumstances, like let's say it was something else, would you have a problem with it then? And I think that's like a way to get in, right? So if there's like a race swap that happens, like the new Harry Potter is going to have Black Snape, for example, and someone that you know who's a fan of Harry Potter tries to watch the show and or whatever it is, I think it's a show.
Yeah, it's a TV show.
And then you ask them, and this is just an example, be like, well, what did you think about it? And be like, blah, blah, blah. And you say, what do you think about the casting? What do you think about the characters? They might say, well, I don't really like this or whatever. There's like an opening there to be like, would it be okay if somebody made, you know, no, they rebooted Black Panther with Ryan Gosling. Would you, as the main character, would you have an issue with that?
Right.
Yes. Why? Because, you know, and then let that logic play out, because that's like a lot of the stuff that where they change these things, they engage in historical revisionism, where they race swap characters for DEI purposes. People know on some gut level that that's wrong, but they're just not able to articulate it, or they're afraid, you know, that they're not saying something that is vibing with the consensus. But when they realize the consensus isn't what they think it is, and that's actually a lot of people that are not happy about that, and that's obvious by like, you know, the sales of stuff, then you can get them to more like, you know, easily come over to your side of things. And you don't have to bring them all the way over. You don't have to like, you know, take them and tell them about the Freemasons and all that. Just like let them understand.
Yeah, don't go John on them. Don't like, you know,
like okay.
Yeah,
now
you're ready for the door to open. Let's go through Oblivion's gate. Come on, let's
talk about the Nephilim. Like, no, let's not rush into that yet. Save that for later. But
that's right. The
Nephilim are real, but let's not go there right away.
Right. It's like the whole thing about like this much will get her drunk, this much will kill her. You know?
Yeah. But I think that's like how we win, and I think that is starting to happen. And I mean that's obvious. Like I said, the sales sort of show all of that. People's reaction to God of War Laufey is evidence of that. So that was what I wanted to say about the normies. I think that's good. I meant to bring that up before, and yeah, so anyway, let's see what you guys are saying here. Norwegian says we need more lizard characters so the lizard people can feel represented. Hey, I'm for lizard characters being in stuff. I'm okay with that. Ergo says gnome stealing panties. It's real. Yes. Master Goa gives us $5 and says that was me last time. I dropped the trailer again right now because it's a game that deserves love. Check Hype Train. I already got it. Called Advent Rising. We're gonna put this up. This is an Xbox trailer, but I'm guessing this is like going to be available too.
Oh yeah. This
all right, hold on.
This is from back in the original Xbox days.
Is this being remade? Is that what this is?
I think so.
Okay, hold on. Let's put this back up on screen. Okay.
I am here to accuse the Seekers of destroying my world.
The Ring. That tells you when this came out.
We came.
Yeah, it's back in my Blockbuster days.
But we failed.
20 some odd years ago.
Here's a heavy weight you carry, human. Epochs of history, tides of war, the blood of nations. All of this is laid at your feet. This is your purpose, and it courses through every cell of your body. Come on.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a very ambitious game when it first
I
came out.
never heard of this before.
This is like back probably like 2002, 2003. I think I was living in Rona.
It's the Halo killer to end all Halo killers. I was thinking when I first saw it, I thought this was like a Mass Effect game.
It's
it's
a
an action
pretty
game.
extensive. Yeah, you definitely it's kind of mass. Yeah, this is like a proto
I'm
Mass
sick of
Effect. I think
people
that's
dying
the
for me.
best way to kind of
This ends
describe it.
now.
Yeah.
All right. That looks good. That looks good. All right,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, it's old original Xbox.
And it's on Steam for $10. So let me go ahead and look here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
and Orson
search
Scott
for it
Card,
real quick.
very highly praised and awarded sci-fi writer, did the story for the game. It's quite
Oh
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Advent Rising. Yeah, $9.99. That's cool. Yeah. When did this come out? It says release date August 9, 2005. That's probably right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Looks good. Thanks for the shout out, Master Goa. Appreciate it. That's a good looking game for how old it is. Apparently it's Unreal Engine 2 game. Ah. It looks like what Avatar should have been. Damn, that's awesome. I hope Guild Wars 3 is good. It was part of a canceled trilogy, so this is one of those that we never.
$10, definitely get your
No,
dollars
it's not
worth.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah, get your money's worth out of it. It's a pretty sizable experience.
Well, I'm afraid we're out of time, but I think that I covered everything I wanted to. I did want to say that just my personal excitement for this game. I don't have any new footage, but apparently Phantom Blade Zero, which is like this new hack and slash coming out a little bit later in the year. I think it's coming out like around September, which is my birthday, is apparently like supposed to be more. It's like the video gameplay that's out there does not do it justice according to Legendary Drops. There's also another really great game coming out that looks like it's doing what The Last of Us should have done. I think it's called Blood Message. And that's a really good looking one too that I saw. There was like a 6 or 8 minute combat like section they took. So I would, if you're interested in that, I would look at that.
Maybe if we have time next week.
Yeah, we can probably look at it next week. But in the meantime, though, thanks guys for coming on the stream. And yeah, John, what do you got going on this week?
Oddly enough, I'm about to have, other than tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, you find me over hanging out with Toasty on her channel. You can always find me there throughout the week, 8 p.m. Eastern, Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. We do, conversations with content creators on Tuesdays or Thursdays based on availability. And then on the weekends, we do our Friday, just hangout session, and then lazy day Sundays for a little bit more of that. Normally I would be having to rush right out of here to go do stuff with Will under his plans for the new schedule, but Rhoda is in Monaco this weekend for the car races and whatnot, so we are not doing a show today, nor will we be doing a show tomorrow, but you can find me over on WTF Live on Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern. And then, of course, here on Saturdays at the conclusion of the show, I bounce over there and join in at that point in time. But nothing going on today. But tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern. And again, everybody in the chat who was here said, all the kind things and whatnot. We appreciate all the support, likes, shares, follows, kind donations, all things that you do. It is greatly appreciated. And, I always have a fun time at the end of the week talking with you a little bit more in depth on some of these things. But of course, that said, y'all have a wonderful weekend going forward. Safe travels ahead. Be awesome as always.
All right. Well, if you guys like this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, leave us a comment. Let me know what you guys think about what we talked about on the show today, and share the video because sharing is caring. Thank you to everyone who sent through super chats and Rumble rants. Really appreciate it. And yeah, thanks so much for coming on the show. Thank you to John once again, and we'll talk to you guys in the next one. Long live Vivian.
With the glass ceiling broken, all the oppressed groups shall prosper, especially the most oppressed group of all, gamers.
I want people in the industry to be a little bit louder about people being mean to other people, and maybe say it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe say we don't want you around if you're going to be a cunt.
Yeah.
And hateful. And that the games industry is diverse naturally. Not because anyone's making them be diverse. Because the world is diverse, you stupid motherfucker. And if you have a problem with that, come fight me. Physically. Bitch.
Has anyone taken you up on that yet?
No, because they're all pussies.
Yep.
Down here, salt is a way of life.
Obviously, the environment down here is all salt. The ceiling's salt, the floor is salt, the walls are salt, and to an extent, the air is salt. And you breathe that in, and you can constantly taste the salt.